Ethereum lobby against XRP just admitted that RippleNet is far better than others in the Bitcoin Conference 2022. What does BitBoy have to say about it? And will the Security and Exchange Commission be punished for its misconduct? But first, we are giving away 25 XRP coins at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. Welcome back XRP Army. Well, Miami has increasingly emerged as a center for the development of blockchain technology in recent years. It has its own city coin, making it the first city in the United States to do so. A decentralized air quality monitoring network housed on Algorand blockchain was also established there, making it the first place outside of the European Union to do so. Finally, it hosted the Bitcoin conference, which took place this year. Over 4 days, 35,000 participants, more than 450 speakers, 3,000 plus corporations, and 100 plus performers are expected to gather at the biggest gathering of Bitcoin supporters in the world, according to the event official website. Did you know about the Bitcoin conference? We sure did, and we have found some interesting news. So, according to BitBoy, who made a video about it, the Bitcoin conference has hinted that XRP would eventually overtake Bitcoin. That is a bold remark, but BitBoy gives more than simply a hunch. He makes predictions based on his experience. He is one of the most well-known traders in the cryptocurrency industry. So, he must have some substantial evidence to back up his claims. Well, we are going to tell you about BitBoy predictions and about the video he uploaded to YouTube with the title, XRP Will Crush Bitcoin. So, Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood were present at the conference, and they gave a fantastic presentation on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the cryptocurrency market, which was attended by hundreds of people. The best highlight of Michael Saylor's presentation was when he said that Merrill Lynch had informed him that he could not speak about Bitcoin, so he transferred $800 million or whatever it was, maybe $175 million, to another bank, and everything was okay with the world after that. Nobody said anything about it, strange is it not? Then he concludes by stating something along the lines of, listen, you know the number one thing is, to make sure you do not sell your Bitcoin, and the audience erupts in applause, with everyone applauding and expressing excitement. Michael Saylor, on the other hand, seemed to be a Bitcoin supporter. I mean, that is actually the way things are, almost everybody loves Bitcoin, but later in the conference, we had a speech by Jack Mallers, who was excellent. So about it, BitBoy claims that he received an alert on his phone that said, if you thought last year El Salvador statement was unexpected, wait till you hear what Jack Mallers has to say. And the fact that a full nation began accepting Bitcoin was very fantastic for the cryptocurrency community. In addition, there is speculation that Apple may get into a collaboration with Jack Mallers' firm, which is, by the way, a totally centralized payments organization, the Lightning Network. However, BitBoy states that he does not encourage utilizing the Lightning Network, and if you know what the Lightning Network is, please share with us in the comment section below. If you are unfamiliar with the Lightning Network, it is a second-layer technology applied to Bitcoin that employs micro-payment channels to grow its blockchain capacity to execute transactions more effectively. Anyway, Jack Mallers takes us on a voyage through the history of payment networks, and essentially what he does is explain that since 1949, when the Diners Club was established, which was the place that first used a credit card that would ultimately become MasterCard, then the world changed dramatically. Because credit cards were being used for the first time in the diner, and the card networks assessed a 3% fee to the establishments that accepted credit cards for the first time. As an example, suppose you pay with a credit card. The cost is $100, of which $97 go to a shop and 3% goes to the credit card network. Basically, Jack Mallers was detailing the whole situation, including how antiquated the current system is, and how a fantastic new system must be put in place for the first time in 70 years in order for innovation to occur, and then he went on to outline what that new system would look like. His Light network, on the other hand, is compatible with Shopify and NCR, which is the world's largest point-of-sale system. That is fantastic, but here is the issue, there are not enough users. And unless there is a strong enough incentive from the retail side to push consumers to utilize the Lightning Network through the Cash App to complete their purchases, the problem will persist. We are fortunate to have another option, but most people will not make use of it since they need some kind of incentive, and bringing about change is very difficult for the majority of people. Then BitBoy claims that Jack Muller promoted XRP without even being aware of it himself. He claims that it was one of the schematics that Jack was displaying at the time. In other words, according to BitBoy, both Bitcoin and Ripple are networks of value, not networks of information. Networks of information include SWIFT and card networks, as well as the major card network. Nothing more than telling people where the ones and zeros are, and then somebody on the back end has to come in and make those modifications, for which they charge 3%. He was essentially stating that it is an outdated system that must be toppled, and that we now have the technology to do it as well as the network to do this. However, there is an issue with Bitcoin. Jack Mullers was unable to explain the motive on the retail side. Nevertheless, the only way that we will see Bitcoin acceptance in this manner is if the merchants declare that they will no longer take credit cards and that consumers would only be permitted to use the Lite network instead. On the hand, there is RippleNet. Since they are already integrated into the network, all you have to do is connect to RippleNet and log into the user interface and it will be right there for you. There are no drawbacks. You will save 6 to 8 business days by using the XRP network, and you will save money in the process. And, even if you utilize Lite network, you will just save money in terms of cash. You will still waste time in the process of settling those transactions. And in terms of what BitBoy meant by a network of information versus a network of value, a network of information indicates that information is sent across a network, but the money side of the transaction must be handled later on the basis of the information transmitted. And in a network of value, when you push a transaction through, all of the money is moved to where it needs to be quick. There is no need to bring money in on the back end. All in all, what Jack Muller was talking about was XRP, and this puts it up well. It was a flashing neon sign for XRP, its development, and the advancement of technology, and we will very certainly be utilizing the XRP network in the future. We will definitely see XRP embraced before Bitcoin since it has already been built into the system. What do you think will happen? If it were not for the Security and Exchange Commission lawsuit, it may have happened. And because of which, the worldwide adoption of XRP has been slowed significantly. Well, recent revelations by Empower Oversight reveal unlawful activity by officials of the Securities and Exchange Commission in connection with the Ripple litigation. Emails were made public by Empower Oversight. In those emails, the Security and Exchange Commission official Simpson Thacker, according to a statement from the organization, indicates that Hinman was warned about a potential conflict of interest with his former employer, the Security and Exchange Commission. Well, almost 200-page emails were made public when Empower Oversight filed a Freedom of Information Act request in August 2021. The Security and Exchange Commission refused to cooperate with the group request, and the organization filed a lawsuit to force the Security and Exchange Commission to comply with its requests. The Security and Exchange Commission attorneys, on the other hand, opposed the allegation, claiming that the emails included workers' discussions and were thus shielded from discovery. There have been some notable doubts raised about whether Hinman adequately disclosed Simpson Thacker involvement with Ethereum to Security and Exchange Commission ethics regulators. What do you think? Will the Security and Exchange Commission be finally charged for its misconduct? Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that the prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.